Ready?
Yep.
Okay, we'll call this session of the DeKalb County Council in order. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2005. We'll begin with an opening prayer by Councilman Bob Kraft.
Let's pray. Father God, we just thank you for another day of life, another day to be here to serve you. I just pray that you would give us wisdom, give us discernment as we do the business of the county and the taxpayers. We just pray that we would make wise decisions as we discuss the topics before us today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Would you please stand for the pledge? Okay, we have three sets of minutes here. We have minutes for September 3rd and 4th meeting, September 24th, and October 8th. Does anybody have any additions or corrections on those three sets of minutes? Okay, hearing none, we can do this all in one. Do we have consensus from the council to approve them all in one? Looks like we do. Okay, so all those in favor of approving the minutes from... What? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the September 3rd and 4th meeting, September 24th, and the October 8th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried and the minutes are approved. Moving on, we have some additionals and transfers. We will take a look at the additionals first. The first one we have is coming from probation, and let me find the letter. It is from the general fund, fund number 1001, account number 34190. The account title is Care of Inmates. The amount requested is $10,000, and it says ACJC has raised the amount charged for detaining juveniles, and the third quarter invoice is well beyond our current balance. Was this included in the annual budget request? And the answer is no. The reason ACJC changed their charges in September of 2025. How will this appropriation be used? It'll be used to pay for detention of juveniles. Specific cost of items is now $200 a day. How was this determined? Determined by the detention facility. Is this a reoccurring expense? And the answer is yes. Will other expenditures be necessary? The answer is yes. And the reason for other expenditures, invoices as received. Was it discussed with the liaison? And that is yes, and that was Dave Yard. Do we have any further discussion on this?
I had a question. Did ACJC, was that not known that they were going to raise?
No, that was kind of a last minute, my understanding there.
Okay.
So otherwise it would have included it in the budget.
That's Allen County trying to balance their
Right.
budget. It's the Allen County Juvenile Detention Center.
So there was no 30 days, we're going to do this, or 2 months. They just did it on their budget meetings.
Yep.
They had to react. They did some pretty radical things there, by the way.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick Ring. Do we have a second? Is that Amy Dembski? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of the $10,000 additional to probation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Dave, one other thing for everybody's information. This actually is the less expensive way to go. The local court has the option of mandating that we build our own juvenile detention center, of which it would put us right back into the same issue we've got with the jail. So paying them to take these people does save us money in the long run.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Moving on, the next one coming from the probation department. The fund name is Supplemental Adult Probation User Fees. Fund number is 2,000. The account is 22300. The account is supplies. The total amount requested is $22,000. Was this included in the annual budget? No, and the reason, it was not an anticipated expense. How will this appropriation be used? To pay for body armor vests for all probation officers and judges. Specific cost of the item is $1,150 plus $270. How was this quote determined? It was received from MES. Is this a recurring expense? No. Will other expenditures be necessary? No. Was it discussed with the liaison? Yes, and that was Dave Yard. So this was necessary for the probation officers and judges to have body armor to wear. So, and it was not anticipated earlier.
Who determined that the judges and probation officers had body armors? Is that?
I don't know who determined. They did.
They do, because they're not wearing this in the facility. They have it so that when they go out and do home checks and they're out and about.
Well, I understand the probation officers, but the judges, I think they could make house calls.
They've always had theirs.
Oh.
They expire though.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
years and it's
They-
not. Yeah.
All judges have always had them.
No, I didn't know that.
Why wouldn't it come out of their funds?
Say that one more time.
Why would it be coming out of probation fund instead of their own funds for the?
Actually, I'll have to look at that when the invoice comes. But they were working on trying to get possibly a grant or some extra help, like to do everything like as in one big option.
Right.
But when the invoice comes, then I'll be able to, because the judges, they would have money in their budgets for their portion of it. So when the invoice comes in, that will split, and I will have some from each judge, and then probation will have the majority of it. So I
Well, in
apologize, I
addition,
didn't look.
this is being done from their user fees. So not from their tax money, but from their user fees is what it says.
It's not
Right,
coming
it's
out of
coming from
general-
the supplemental
Not coming out of the general fund.
adult probation user fees, correct?
There been some kind of instance or something that recently sparked this idea that they needed body armor? This seems surprising.
They've talked about it multiple times. If you want Michelle to come up, maybe she can come up, but
perfect.
I was gonna say, it's been discussed both here and commissioners multiple times.
So this isn't a new practice, and it isn't really anything new. It's just that the body armor has all expired, and it has like a useful life. Sorry. I would say that for the probation officers and for those of us at community corrections, we've gone a little bit past what police officers normally go because we don't wear ours daily like they do. Ours is just when we're out in the community. It's just for safety. It's to make sure that when we're going out, because when we're in the office, we have to think like we're bringing the offenders into our environment, into our territory, and we have some kinds of controls and we can put in safety practices. But when we're out in the community, we're kind of going into their environment and we don't have so many controls and we're going into unknowns and things like that. So this is really just a safety thing. And it's just because they've expired and we need new ones. And when we contacted the body armor companies, the two that we contacted, one in Fort Wayne and one's in Indianapolis, both said that they expect those prices to be going up next year, and it would be better to get it done this year. Now they are salesmen. They are trying to get us to buy something. So how true is that? I don't know, but since the price of everything is going up, it seemed pretty plausible. The other thing is there is a Bureau of Justice Assistance has a program where we can turn in our invoice after we've ordered, and it's on specific models. They have to be sized to each individual person in order to qualify for the program. And the ones we're looking at do fit. There's a list, and we've made sure that they're on that list. And then what we do when we get the invoices, we turn it into them, and we can get up to 50% reimbursement, up to, so it's not guaranteed 50%. But we've already done all the background work on that. We have our account set up, we've been approved, they've placed us into a category, different things that we have to do. And so we really just need to invoice at this point. That window opened on October 20th and it closes December 19th to turn your invoice in for the reimbursement.
Michelle, quick question, and maybe you know or don't know, but the expired vests and armor, what do they do with it? Is it traded in, or do you, somebody dispose of it, or what?
We can dispose of it. Sometimes there are other agencies that like to take it as a donation for their reserve officers because they don't generally buy specific vests for reserve officers. So that's kind of up to those other departments if that's something they're interested in.
I have a little bit of a concern with that. That is if we're passing on equipment that's been expired.
Yeah.
Don could probably answer this question. Are we liable if it doesn't function? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually something I know that the health department has been working on with Mr. Cruz on AEDs. Because, for example, we had a few AEDs at community corrections that were not expired, and we actually just replaced the batteries when the health department decided to get everyone on the same models and units. So our question was, what can we do with these? Because they're perfectly functioning and in fact have new batteries in them. And he is working with them on what to do with those. Same idea, like if we're giving these out, are they taking them with the understanding they're as is kind of a thing? So I think that's same idea that we would run past him and kind of say, yes, no, how do you want to do this? Is there something they need to sign? Whatever it might be.
Currently in discussions with the state right now on
The AEDs.
the process and
Michelle, if these are, sounds like these are reoccurring expenses, they're usually just in your budget, is that right?
Well, they would have been if I had realized that ours were expired. So obviously, these are purchases that happened before I came, and when I took the time to open the cover, take the panels out and look and realize that it was time, and then knowing that then finding out the prices were going to go up and that the windows open from October to December, it's like, can we get this done in the window, turn the invoices in, and hopefully get some reimbursement so we're not paying the entire cost of the vest.
I'm glad that you were being really proactive and that equipment.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
No problem.
Any other questions for Michelle? Thank you, Michelle.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions on this additional? Hearing none, do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a motion by Rick Collins. Amy, did you second that? And second by Amy Prosser. Any further discussion? Not, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $22,000 additional for probation signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. And the last one we have comes from Sunny Meadows. And there are three. And if we have consensus from the council, we can do these all on one motion. Do we have consensus? Thank you. We'll go through these. Okay, the first one is from the Funny Meadows Donation Fund, Fund number 4111. Let's see, the objective number is 22256. And that is for $445.93. The next one is number 22257, residential needs, $10,517.65. And the next one is number 34340, contractual services / consultant, $1,301. Total amount requested is $12,264.58. And it's purchases made for residents that are relocating for things such as beds, dressers, chairs, down payment for facility, depending what the resident needs. The activities purchase was used to celebrate a resident's birthday, and they did a fun tie-dye activity for the residents. Was this included in the annual budget request? And the reason was no. The reason it was not included was it was missed. How will this appropriation be used? For all residents' needs, mostly help with relocations. Specific costs of the items, they differ. How will this cost, how was this cost determined? Depends on what needs purchased. Is this a reoccurring expense? The answer is no. Will other expenditures be necessary? The answer is yes, and the reason for other expenditures is there'll be more relocations. Was it discussed with the liaison, and that is yes, and that is Bob Kraft.
So that is the donation fund for Sunny Meadows, and I just totally didn't budget it for this year. And so with the relocation of all the residents, all of this money that was donated obviously is to go directly for the residents' needs, anything that they're wanting. So as things happen and people move, then items are purchased, and that's where they're getting paid from.
And there's still money in it too, isn't it? Or is that?
Yeah, I mean,
The donations?
yeah, I mean, there's not a lot, because we're almost to the end here, but
This takes a good chunk of it.
According to the fund report, there's $6,800 in there.
yeah, except for since then would have been probably at least 4 residents that we would have been purchasing things for that wouldn't have been paid yet.
Yeah, we can't have this money left because it was donated from
Right.
the public, so
And it's
it needs to go out to the residents.
absolutely where it should go. That's true. That's true. I just wonder, is there enough money in there to cover this?
There is, it's gonna be close, and if we get to the end and there's not enough money in the donation part, there is plenty of money in their budget right now that
Transfer
if
over.
we need to pay for something from county general, then we will, to make the residents get what they need.
So you're saying that right now, there's enough in the donation fund to cover the $12,264?
Oh, there has been. I mean, that's the full amount of the appropriation. Like those accounts, many of them right now, if you actually see an account report, they show as negative because the appropriation wasn't there to offset that. But no, that's the exact balance of what was there.
12,000.
There were $13,000, $13,464 donated during the year. Had that much going into it.
Who's overseeing the purchase of these items that the residents need and making sure that everybody's getting taken care of? Is that the committee?
It's between the committee, the Sunny Meadows Committee,
Staff?
Lita, and myself. And Commissioner Kellen, Commissioner Dooley is the commissioner that is the lead head on the whole Sunny Meadows transitions and with the committee.
Lita, I want to ask you to get up. You can just shake your head if you want to stay there, but you can come on up if you want. From what I understand also that you, from some emails that I've seen, you are also soliciting donations of some of that stuff. So you're
Right.
working beyond just this fund.
Well, that's
There's-
different.
well,
We need to
there's-
make sure.
Okay, we did solicit for certain items because there's some that I don't want to have to deal with that come, not sure where they come from. The one project that I just put out would be like the one we've always done for Christmas. Only this is for the ones, the 5 that are moving out into community living. They're going to be living on their own.
So we
Out of
need to
this
make,
fund, we didn't purchase household cleaning stuff, the small stuff. We got them the big things to be able to sleep and do that kind of thing. The thing that we're going to do through my office is cleaning stuff, and the list went out.
so for the public listening, I want to make it very clear. The email that we're discussing was an email from Lita, not as a recorder, not as a committee, not as a county employee.
Correct.
As on her own to request donations of certain items for these employees or these residents. And this, much like when we would do adopt a resident at Christmas time, has absolutely nothing to do with
With
county
my
funds,
office.
county money, county anything.
Exactly.
So I want to make sure that's clear, that is not part of anything to do with the county funds.
Right.
It's just for the employees to show their generosity, which
Correct.
the employees have been very generous in the.
Very, yes.
Thank you, Susan,
this
for
will be the-
clarifying that, and that's part of why I wanted Lita to say that now, because
This will be
there
the
is something
last year,
beyond
of
what we're
course,
doing as a
that
county.
we do this. But we kind of made it we're still adopting a resident, but it's basically the ones that are going out into the community, living in their own apartments for sometimes the first time in their lives. So trying to make sure that we're setting them up for success, not just putting them in an apartment, here's your bed, here's your dresser, and we're done. That's not, I can't do that. And the people that donated to that restriction fund, that's why they did it. They did it to go for them. And so I'm being very diligent about, the ones that are going out. And we've gotten a few things for the ones that are going into another facility. Two went to another county home in the south part of the state. They couldn't take anything with them, nothing, only what they were wearing. So for them, they got all new clothes, and they had to go from my car to the transport. So every one of these residents, their needs have been different. Some need nothing, so, but some need quite a bit. So that's where we're at. We're getting there, but, yeah, Walmart loves me.
Well, we certainly appreciate the committee and all that you do.
Thank you, Lita.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion?
I move to approve the additional.
A motion to approve, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amy Prosser. All those in favor of approving the Sunny Meadows transfer or additional of $12,264.58 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. We are complete with additionals. Now we're going to go to transfers here, and we do have several. First one comes to us from the auditor. It is from other fees, fund number 32780 to computer equipment 44420 for $844, and it's to purchase a new PC for my employee. Any further discussion?
Move to approve.
Move to have a motion approved by Bob Kraft. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick Collins. All those in favor of the transfer of $844 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Transfer is granted. The next one comes to us from Superior Court 1. And, let's see. It is from part-time, fund number 10750 to licenses for software, fund number 34620 for $8,000. And I'm trying to find this one, Susan. Is there anything else we need to discuss on that? Susan? Is there anything further to discuss on that? For Superior Court, $8,000 to transfer.
It's just because they're doing new
Licenses.
storages and they're doing a different, like backup products, and it has some other features to it. They're just transferring so they can pay for it this year.
Any further discussion, any questions? Hearing none, we have a motion. We have a motion by Amy Dembski, second by Rick Ring. We'll call for the question. All those in favor of the $8,000 transfer for Superior Court 1 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Transfer is granted. The next one comes from Title 4D, Travel Training Education, Fund number 34295 to Office Supplies, Fund number 22110, in the amount of $200. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion? We have a motion by Amy Dembski. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick Collins. All those in favor of the $200 transfer signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Transfer is granted. The next one comes to us from the Lit Safety county sheriff.
Public Safety Lit Fund.
Okay, that's fund number 1170. It is, we have two of them here, and if we have consensus from the council, we can do these in one motion. First one is travel, training, education, fund number 34295 to holiday pay 11100 in the amount of $3,000. And the next one is equipment repair and maintenance, fund number 33620 to holiday pay 11000 in the amount of $10,000. So we're looking at a total of $13,000. Susan, anything you want to add to that?
No? I mean,
That was quite a large miscalculation there, but that would have been, I mean, that wasn't the auditor's office, that was the department's catch, and we didn't catch it either, so.
And is holiday pay just that extra, a higher rate when they work on a paid holiday?
I think so.
well, they get paid, if they work and then they get paid 12 hours. I mean, it's not like time and a half, but.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, do we have
I'll move we approve.
okay, we have a motion by Rick Pring. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bob Kraft. We'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $13,000 transfer to holiday pay from Central Communications signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Transfer is granted. Next one comes to us from the auditor's office. It is from equipment, fund number 44420 to other service fees, fund number 32780 in the amount of $1,670. Do we have any questions or further discussion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? Have a motion from Bob Kraft to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Amy Prosser. We'll call for the question. All those in favor of the transfer of $1,670 in the auditor's office signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Transfer is approved. Next one comes from the SDI TIF fund, fund number 4501. We have three. If we have consensus from the council, we can do these in one motion. We do, thank you. Okay, the first one, miscellaneous expenditures, fund number 99500 to Auburn Hazmat Project, 32783 for $75,000. The next one is miscellaneous expenditures, fund number 99500 to equipment. That fund number is 44430. That amount is $50,000. And the last one is a miscellaneous expenditure, fund number 99500 to police equipment, fund number 44520. So the amount is,
130,000.
120?
130.
130, thank you. Further discussion, questions from the council?
What's the Auburn Hazmat project that's on all three of these TIFs?
So for the next three, I'm gonna say you've got three funds, and this explanation will go for the next three funds. The hazmat training facility is the training facility, but it's here in Auburn, but like all different entities, even different parts of the state, are gonna come and train at that facility. So that is broken up among the three different TIFs. The redevelopment has done three, getting ready to do the fourth resolution this year on different projects that they're doing. The Butler Police Department, they were able to get a couple Durangos, some AEDs, like traffic sign that's like lit up, a drone, the Concord Township Fire Department, they were getting, like, Polaris ATV and trailer to transport it. And that's, so they can get different places. It'll have all the capabilities, like, to help with the fire and for rescue with, like, what's that thing called? Like the stretcher, like all that capability. Let me think. The Butler Fire, they are getting, a brush truck and a tanker, like the big fire truck, which those payments come different times. We've done a down payment for half of the brush truck. And the, let me think, there's one other.
The 370.
Tonight, they're getting ready to do another resolution, which will actually do some items for the county sheriff's department for the SWAT team.
But these 375,000s that we're looking at and these 3 TIFs are to help operate the hazmat training center.
So the resolutions they approve not to exceed a certain dollar amount. So those happen to be what the remaining amount that can be spent on that resolution broken up into the 3. So that's just putting those appropriations there in case I have more invoices through the end of the year, which is the same with all of them. Now, the police equipment, the Butler, anything for Butler and Wilmington Township, those were just split between the SDI and the New Millennium TIFs, not part of the American Heritage. They just went between the 2.
The training facility that's being improved is for all the departments. It's here in Auburn, it's managed by the Auburn Department, but it's for all departments in the county train there. Is this my understanding that the major SDI TIF district expires this year? So this is funding that we don't get to approve or disapprove. The RDA did that already. But this money is being distributed out next year with the TIF district expiring. Those taxes that were over the last 20 or 25 years captured by the TIF district will now get distributed to the regular taxing unit within that area, whether it be Wilmington Township, the county, Eastside schools. It will go directly to them and will not run through the TIF district. So,
Correct.
and I don't know how much money they have to dispose of before it expires, but.
Well, they don't have to dispose of it. Like they can
keep it?
They can keep that and be able to use it for projects in that area. So they don't have to get rid of everything. I mean, obviously the big fire truck is gonna take a lot of it. And not I mean, they didn't keep 100% of those, of that increment anyway, so currently, like, those entities in the schools are getting part of it. This year, I believe between the SDI and the New Millennium TIF, they agreed to keep a combined net of like 500,000 in with the RDC, otherwise everything else was passed through to the units.
The good part of this is the TIF is ending and the money is gonna get distributed to the normal taxing units.
Well, and to speak to the 75,000 for the hazmat training, I mean, when you consider the amount of heavy industry manufacturing that we have in this county, along with railroads and highways, interstates, that's a pretty big need for us to be highly trained in responding to those kinds of emergencies. So I think that's money well spent for our departments in all the areas to get trained.
So the hazmat facility, they approved for the, pay up to $350,000 for different needs for that project.
Get the electric.
And electric cars, start a fire.
Okay, to avoid any confusion, these 3 TIF districts here, SDI, American Heritage, and New Millennium, we're for all those, we're talking about the 130,000 that's generated and where it's gonna go. I mean, this is not three separate $130,000.
It's three,
It's
it's three
separate.
separate.
No, it's separate. It's separate because, so like, that one hazmat, there's $350,000. That divided into three, so what, 100 and whatever?
Okay, so we need to act on each one of these then.
Yeah. Each TIF, yeah.
Okay,
Which we've already agreed to do with the SDI TIF.
Do we have,
Act on
do we
those.
have a motion on that one?
No.
We've agreed to act on it as one.
yeah, but we need a motion on the.
I'll make a
SDI.
motion that we approve the
130,000 for the SDI.
$130,000 from the SDI TIF district.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick Ring and a second by Bob Kraft. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of the approval of the $130,000 for the SDI TIF signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. The next one is the American Heritage TIF, and it is miscellaneous expenditure 99500 to Auburn Hazmat Project 32783, and we've heard the explanation, and the amount is for $75,000.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Bob Kraft to
Second.
approve, and a second by Rick Collins. Any further discussion?
And that, the New Millennium and the SDI are TIF districts that are located on the east side of the county. American Heritage is actually over here in the, between
Kaiser
here and Garrett.
Township, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? We'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $75,000 transfer to American Heritage TIF signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The last one is the New Millennium TIF. The first one is miscellaneous expenditure fund number 99500, Auburn Hazmat Project 32783, in the amount of $75,000. The next one is a miscellaneous expenditure fund number 99500 to equipment, fund number 44430 for $50,000. Excuse me, and the last one is a miscellaneous fund number 99500 to police equipment, fund number 44520, and that total is $130,000. Do we have any further discussion?
All right, do we need a consensus?
Pardon?
Do those together?
Yeah, we'll do all three of those together, yes.
Do we need consensus?
Do we have a motion? I'm sorry, Rick?
I didn't know if you asked for consensus yet.
I did on all of them at the very beginning, but
Okay.
we'll do
I thought you were just asking for the SDI one at the beginning.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Okay, we have consensus. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Rick Ring. Do we have a second? Second by Amy Dembski. Any further discussion? We'll call for the question. All those in favor of the $130,000 transfer in the New Millennium TIF signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, that completes the transfers, and you see a list of non-transfers that do not require action from the council. We're going to move on to the airport update, and Randy Fox, great to see you, great to hear from you.
Good morning, all.
Good
I'll
morning.
be brief again. The taxiway project is pretty much complete. Pavement's down, lights are up, painting's done. According to our engineer, there are a few things that'll be followed up in the spring, but we now have taxiways for the entire 7,000 feet of the runway. Up until this point, 2,000 feet had no taxiway. So if an airplane, a jet, wanted to use the entire 7,000 feet to take off, he would have to taxi backwards. The plane would be going forwards, but he would taxi 2,000 feet on the runway, turn around, and then use all 7,000 feet to leave. Now they can taxi all the way down. The taxiways actually are only about 40% as wide as the runway, because they're on the ground, they're driving, they don't need a little extra room. If you've ever watched some planes come in, light planes especially, when I was flying, we could come in at 30 degrees angle to the runway till you get down within about 10 feet, and then you'd kick the rudder around, drop a wing a little bit, and touch down. So you had to have room to play with. You don't need so much of that on the taxiway. So They're not as large as the runway, but it's complete now. T-hanger bids, we're going to put up 3 8-position T-hangers at the next board meeting, week from Friday. We intend to accept the bid just under $3.2 million. And that will include removing the old B and C rows. When I took my training back in the early 80s, those were some of the major hangars that were on the runway. They're built like a pole barn, dirt floors in some of them. And so those will be taken down. We had a problem where I think the C hangar actually extends out into the runway protection area, and the FAA has wanted that gone anyway. So that's going to be a part of that project as well. We are looking, the engineering company, BFNS, is planning for a full-depth reclamation of the original 5,000 feet of the runway before the extension. Originally, they were going to mill down about 4.5 inches and replace it. My understanding is that now they're going to go down through the entire depth of the runway. They'll mix some concrete in with the subsoil to firm it up, and then lay a whole new layer of runway. We probably could have got this done years ago had Russ and Jason not been so diligent about going out and patching the runway. When the state does their examination of our runways, they give it a score. And our score stayed up because the guys did a lot of work on the runway. So our runway has lasted longer than, it's almost been 30, I think the mid-90s is the last time that anything was done at the original 5,000 feet. And Russ and Jason go out and patch and do that annually. So the runway's lasted longer, and it's in definite need of some replacement, really. And then we are done with the runway extension project, probably the end of 2027. And then they had the trunk or treat, this airport at the runway, and they said they had good attendance at that. With that, I'll take any questions. And
Randy, what's the anticipated shutdown time of the airport during that? There's a big difference between
yeah, it's going to be
grinding it and going to full surface.
Yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 days that they'll mill all that out. And again, they'll reuse a lot of the material that's been milled out to produce the new runway surface, so that I think the state requires a certain percentage. You guys can probably know better than I do, of reintroducing that material that's been milled out, so that it's not, we don't have 5,000 feet of 150-foot runway going to some landfill somewhere. But it could be up to 30 days that the runway would be closed. Again, that could be much dependent upon weather and who knows what supplies are available and all that. So 30 days, I think, is the target.
So those hangars that are going to be removed, that's been, the FAA has been pushing that a little bit. We're not just going out there and tearing down buildings because we want new pretty buildings. It's mandated.
If you've been by the airport, these are the 3 at the west end.
Originals.
And they're painted blue, and they really need a severe amount of maintenance. Their doors are hung almost like your bathroom door. You know, your bathtub door where there's a rail on the top and you slide the doors out and they keep falling off. And yeah, so it's kind of a maintenance nightmare to maintain those. And again, the longer one of the two, the FAA says extends into the runway protection zone, which would be for airplane wings or turning radius, to where you would possibly impact those because they're sticking out there, and they want that gone. The new hangars are actually going to be in the vicinity of where the church was. So that reclaimed property is going to be put to use.
So you lose storage for how many planes versus we're building for how many?
Yeah, it's
Equal or,
probably, we're probably going to gain about 4 places.
and those are all rented, correct?
Most of them, yes.
So there's some revenue to be generated.
Right, there is some revenue to be generated, but these are 50-year payoff. We're not gonna cash flow these in 3 years and have them paid off. They're a long-term investment.
Didn't think we would, but we are
Yeah.
going to have revenue coming in from it.
Right, so the guys are very intent upon not having airplanes that sit in the hangar for 18 months and never fly. They call them hangar queens. If the airplane is not functional and not flyable, we don't want them taking up hangar space. We would like them to sell the airplane, move it to somewhere else where they can store it off-site and bring in aircraft that are going to be flying and being used regularly so that we do continue to generate, because it generates fuel sales, it generates maintenance, it generates all kinds of things instead of just rent for a hangar that's storage. And some of them you'll find not only airplanes, but there'll be cars and furniture and all kinds of
Many
stuff in
museums.
it. Yeah, yeah. So the guys are really intent upon keeping operational aircraft stored in the hangars rather than stuff.
Any further questions for Randy? Randy, as always, thank you for an excellent, informative report.
Thank you.
Does the council need a break? Anybody?
Please.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break.
5, 10? 5?
Or
Yeah.
whichever comes.
Moving on. Kellen, you're up.
Wait for Collins or? Collins?
Go ahead and get started.
Okay. So I'm just kind of here to talk about Sunny Meadows and to go over the, is it an ordinance, Susan, that presenting? And the ordinance. So the ordinance that I've presented to you is for the 4 named workers that are out there right now to get them a stipend. They've done a fantastic job with helping to transition the facility and all the residents out there. They've moved shifts around, they've picked up extra hours, picked up responsibilities and all the things like that. So the Sunny Meadows Committee is recommending the $6,000 per the 4 employees for all the work that they've done. That roughly comes out to about 2 months worth of pay for them. We did that number because about 2 months of pay, you have to take the taxes off. You're really getting just over a month or so of pay. So, any questions on that? Then I'll do an update for Sunny Meadows.
They're all staying till the last, knowing that their job's not going to be there anymore. So
Correct.
they've been showing a lot of loyalty to the county and the residents that way, instead of just saying, well, my job's going away, so I'm going to go find something else. So we really appreciate that loyalty.
Yeah, and they picked up extra responsibilities. They've switched shifts around. They've gone to midnight now instead of to 10, and they've really kind of did everything we've asked of them to help with the transition of the residents.
Ellen, these are all our employees, right?
Yes, it's
These are
just our
not any of
employees.
the contractors.
There's none of the temp agencies. This is just the 4 employees that we have.
Okay, you have before you a copy of the ordinance. And I would like to read through this here with the council.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay. Ordinance number 2025-OCC-13. Whereas the DeKalb County Commissioners have decided to close the county home known as Sunny Meadows. Whereas the Commissioners hired a consultant in April of 2025 to begin transitioning the residents into other housing that would meet their needs. Whereas the county has had 4 employees who have remained with us during the transition of the residents to care for their daily needs and well-being. Whereas the 4 employees have remained with the county and will remain with us until the last resident has been relocated, with the knowledge their employment with the county will cease when there are no longer duties to be taken care of at the county home. Whereas the Sunny Meadows Committee that was formed and assisted in many different ways to help see that our residents would be in great care once they left and helped find housing and be sure the resident had any items that were needed to get them on their feet for new locations, along with the DeKalb County Commissioners, request the 4 remaining employees to receive a stipend of $6,000 each when they are officially relieved of their duties as a county employee. Whereas the stipend will be paid out on the employee's last check of employment, it is hereby ordained by DeKalb County Council that Skylar Boyd, Robin Burkhart, Ashley Wilkerson, and Michelle Smith will each receive a $6,000 stipend as a thank you and appreciation for their faithful contributions, work ethic, and care of our residents, and for remaining with the county through the end of a legacy.
Okay. Did you say $600 or
$6,000.
And I would like to point out that that's not an additional, there's plenty of money left in the Sunny Meadows budget for this year to pay that easily, and then quite a bit more.
Are these all full-time employees?
There's 3 full-time and 1 part-time.
So even the part-time will get the same amount?
That's what the Sunny Meadows Committee decided on, yes. She works every weekend, does the 12-hour overnights on the weekend. And she switched her shifts from Saturday and Sunday to Friday and Saturday to help out.
How did the committee come to the opinion that they needed 2 months of pay instead of, it's fairly normal in the work world to give like 1 month of severance, why 2?
It's not really a severance, it's going to be a stipend, so they have a little higher tax pay rate on it. So we went with 2 months at $1,500, which they get paid per pay period, and times it by 4, so that way there's some of the taxes will be taken off. They're still getting over a month worth of actual take home, knowing that their job will be lost.
How long have they known that they're not going to have a job?
They've known since the decision to transition Sunny Meadows back in April. They decided to stay to help out with the residents and help us to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible.
So there was no way that we could force them to stay.
Nope.
They did this voluntarily, knowing that they were going to lose their job and probably missed opportunities where they could have gotten another job.
Yes, some employees have left during that time frame. These are the 4 that have stayed. That have stayed.
Kellen, what's our estimated timeline with the remaining residents that are there now?
So we have 5 residents that are remaining as of right now. 1 is supposed to be transitioned today. 1 is supposed to be transitioned on Friday. So that leaves us down to 3. 1 has accepted at a facility already. We're just waiting on a move-out date. Another one has to do a redetermination for some paperwork, and then she'll be moving out. And the other one is going to be the one that we're processing in the current process of evicting. She will not, her court date is sometime in December. So sometime in mid-December is when she'll actually have finished the eviction process. And it appears that she'll be the last one out. So that's probably the timeline that we're playing with, is that sometime in the middle of December is when the last resident will be out. And that's when I've let the staff know that when the last resident goes out, that's when the staff will be let go.
I think they should be commended for staying, and I am in full support of doing this ordinance, that in accepting the $6,000 each, that they waive the right to unemployment, which would cost us additional if they were to file for unemployment when they left.
And that's going to be a question for Stuckey on that. I don't know if we can.
Is that legal, Don?
Well, you can make it as consideration for them accepting that they waive the right to unemployment. Now, they can still probably apply for unemployment, but then you have a defense to the unemployment, at least for the period of several weeks. Was it 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, months, whatever it is, at least to that. But based upon this, they could take the $6,000 immediately file for unemployment, even though they're getting the $6,000 stipend, which extends their pay for 4 months, 2 months, whatever. I don't know.
Well, it'll be a lump sum.
Right, but it's essentially payment for. It works out to about.
It's not a severance. We cannot call it a severance.
But beyond the period of the pay, it's a real question of whether you can do that. But you do have a defense if they apply for unemployment compensation. If you do a severance package, you also usually have that they waive the right to sue their employer, so on and so forth. So, I mean, they would have the right to sue you for age discrimination, for example. That's the only thought that I would have. I'm more concerned about that. The unemployment compensation seems that if they shouldn't be able to apply for unemployment compensation if they're getting several weeks' pay in addition, at least until that's gone. But that's a policy decision.
Yeah, maybe HR, Dottie, could you weigh in on that a little bit? Do you have some thoughts on that?
I'll be honest, I'm not sure. The unemployment office will ask, did you receive any extra funds? Are you still receiving money? You know, when will that end? They'll probably do a little more investigation. This may not be a severance, but the unemployment office may actually consider it a severance. And then maybe the person will not be able to receive unemployment until, several weeks. They'll figure out what the person made, hourly wage, $18.99, figure that out, how many weeks is that, and then won't start unemployment until then. Usually what happens when an employee files for unemployment, we have a notice, and then we protest that generally, or at least we provide the unemployment office with as much information as we possibly can about their wages, how long they were employed, things like that. And then it goes to the unemployment office, and if they want to escalate it into, a judicial, a judge to actually call, and we have a hearing about the whole thing, it's almost I would say sometimes it's a crapshoot, if they go toward, if they lean more toward the employee or the employer. And then something else I would like to mention, we hired actually 2 of those employees that you're talking about. When Morgan was actually talking to them during their onboarding, they knew up front that their jobs were short-term. So kudos to them they actually took the job, and it's like, we're going to stay here to the end.
And the governmental units, the way we do unemployment, we don't pay unemployment insurance. There will be an invoice sent to the county to pay for the unemployment that would be going out. Is that
Yeah,
the way it
we
works?
get,
There's a fund you pay into.
yeah, we pay into the fund, and then it
increase
gets
your-
distributed. Yeah.
Patty, I think the other question is, are we setting some kind of precedent in this type of situation? And then 2, and maybe this is a committee question of, I'm struggling with the idea of how fair is every person's. We have one that's part-time, others were full-time. Do we give them the same amount? Some of them were there 7 months, some of them maybe 4 months. So I'm trying to figure out the most
years.
fair way to compensate them for job well done. And 2, $6,000 is a really big stipend. We've never given anything like that before in the past, so I'm worried about a precedent, I guess. So maybe you can speak to all of those topics as HR.
Right. I mean, there's no set rule about doing a stipend. Actually, at the Association of Indiana Counties HR meeting, we joked that we thought that stipends were being thrown out like candy at Halloween. From the HR standpoint, counties seem to be doing more of that to reward employees for things. In this case, HR wasn't a part of the decision to make, whatever the amount was. So I really can't speak to how they came to that. But to me, it would seem that it would be a little more fair. We have one employee who has been there 3 years, and he's getting the same amount as the person who was hired in May. Yeah, May of this year. So for me, it doesn't quite seem fair. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they've stuck around. That is true. But is that amount truly fair? Yeah.
Are they all on the same wages? Are they getting all paid the same?
They are. Yeah, they're all at $18.99.
I give them credit for sticking around. I mean, I would presume that some of them missed opportunities and everything. And I don't know how you'd make it fair. That's up to the committee on the thing if they want to change it. I mean, I see this going forward. I mean, I'm in favor of it because I give them credit for staying. But like she said, maybe you should adjust it a little bit. But if they're getting the same pay, 2 months is 2 months. Give them the salaries for that 2 months so they have an opportunity to do something and work with it and find another job. I mean, I give them credit. I mean, they all could have walked away when they saw the end coming, but they did say. And as far as a precedent, I mean, I don't see any futures, any place where we're going to close down another deal like saying, I mean, we're not going to close down HR. They're so important anymore, and we won't have to give them severance pay,
I think the issue was
And
more about,
and probation, we're not going to close it down. So it is one time and a one-time deal. So I'm not worried about that.
to your point, I think it was more about an amount as well as, and I understand that we're saying stipend, but the state looks at it as severance. And so there is a little bit of difference, I think, in how the state will look at that. And that's my concern there.
As far as the fairness for longevity, I mean, we do have a longevity pay system, but they hadn't qualified yet. But we do have a longevity pay system in place. So had they been there that long, they would have been getting paid differently because of that longevity.
And again, you know, it does need to be emphasized that they are benefiting the county. They could all walk tomorrow, and then where would we be? Probably a few council people and maybe a commissioner or two, and then the recorder would have to be staying out there to manage the residents that were still here. So I'm not opposed to giving them a stipend at all.
Were they informed ahead of time that this was a possibility? Like, hey, part of the hiring process, we want you to stick around. At the end, we will pay you a stipend? Was that a given?
No, we didn't talk about a stipend at all. Let's see, we have the one employee who's been here 3 years, and the next is for a year, and then the other two, the part-time and then another full-timer, were hired since the decision was made to close Sunny Meadows. But they were told during their onboarding, or even before, when we were doing the interviews, that we would be closing the facility and that we had until May of 2026 was our goal. But there was no promise of any, stipend or any carrot to hang on.
When you say part-time, how many hours a week are they?
Yeah, 16? Mm-hmm.
And
We have,
they're working
They work 40.
Friday and Saturday nights, which in other worlds, that might be considered full-time for the week, being the weekend and being third shift and nighttime. That could be considered full-time.
16.
But the person that was hired 3 years ago and the person hired for 1 year didn't know about the closing when they were hired.
No, of course
It's just the
not.
two that was hired, and so they knew that it was coming, and they also said it was may go out to May of 26.
Right.
So we're cutting it short, what we had said that we should be at, so.
Of course, at the time,
That wasn't
we didn't.
guaranteed. That wasn't guaranteed. That was just
That was
until
our
potentially.
goal.
Even the part-time, the new people that came on, there was no guarantee to them through May of.
There's never a
I understand what you're saying,
guarantee.
Bill, and that's correct that was the possibility, but there was no guarantee.
Nope, there's no guarantee. We even mentioned that, it depended on how, many residents were moved on, so how quickly that would, we would actually close.
Dottie, out of the 4 employees, how many possibly would be eligible for unemployment?
I would say all of them.
Part-time too?
And just to be clear, we're suggesting that we pay the part-time same $6,000 as we are the full-time.
That's what I understand from the committee, from the ordinance.
I guess I struggle with this idea. I'm happy to be generous to people out of my own pocket. This is taxpayer dollars. And I'm happy to be fair, and I am in favor of giving them some recognition, but I feel like 6,000 is overly generous, and I hesitate to be overly generous with taxpayer dollars. I'm happy to be fair, and I think a fair severance package in today's world is a month of severance. It's not a surprise that their job is shutting down, and so they do have time to go in the next 4 weeks to look for something, and that is a way to reward them for their time with us. So I would actually prefer to look at something lower than 6,000. That's just my discussion point. I'm not making any kind of a motion, but I think I'd like to make that a discussion point.
Yeah, I'm hearing a couple different things from the council. One is on the amount of pay and possibly including the no eligibility or whatever there.
For unemployment, I would like to throw out a question, just for discussion. You've got got 4 people, you got 2 full-time, 2 part-time. Leave the 2 full-times at 6,000 and cut the part-timers to 3,000. That,
I
3 full-time, 1
three,
part.
okay, so do the 3 full-time at the 6,000 and do the part-time at 3,000. I mean,
That's still a lot of, that's 2 months severance.
it is.
Well,
But, you know, well, I think it's something that I think even as whether you're a public employer or a private employer, you're gonna do what you can to help your employees.
Leah?
For one, being on the committee, and for one, working with Sun Meadows for many years now, I've witnessed what it takes to run that and the people that need to work there. I don't think, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, Kellen can voice this. He was out there a lot when we didn't have enough employees. We had a director last time that had to work 3 shifts, all 3 shifts. Just because you have less residents is not less work. And yes, you know your job's ending, but the goal was May of '26. These people may have given up a lot of opportunities to go find a job. $6,000 is nothing when you start taking the taxes out of it. And how quick are they gonna be able to find something? And it takes a special person, and I'm not one of them, but it takes a special person to work in that environment. They could probably go to any nursing home and make a lot more money than what they're making, but they're out there because they believe in it. And I don't think, if the Sunny Meadows budget was really strapped, I could really see this discussion, but it's not. And we have made great progress. We're gonna possibly be down way before our goal was. And I think, and I'm not for putting a restriction that they can't draw unemployment. We owe these people a great amount of gratitude, because, like was brought up, how many of us want to go out there and work? How many of us want to be out there on a 3rd shift? I don't want to be out there 3rd shift in the basement doing laundry, sorry. But it's what these people are doing for us and for the people. And I think the amount of money is a drop in the bucket, to be honest. Just my opinion.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to try and narrow this down because I'm hearing a couple of things here that possibly are legal concerns. First of all, Rick is wanting to look at they would not be eligible or could not come back on the county for unemployment. I don't know if that's Don, this is where we need your expertise. If we can do that.
Well, you'd have to pay them the $6,000 on a bi-week like we do now. It'd be part of their pay, additional pay. It would be paid out as a severance, not one lump sum. You'd have to do it over several weeks. And they certainly wouldn't be eligible during that period. After that, if they're unemployed, you're probably going to be paying unemployment, additional monies into the fund if they apply for unemployment compensation.
Does this ordinance need to be rewritten?
Well, yeah, we'll have to adjust it when you guys decide what you're
On
going
the
with.
pay and whether, wouldn't we need to vote on amendment, on Rick's amendment if it's going to
But
go?
we don't have we have nothing. We don't have a motion.
We have a motion to
I
pass
made
it.
a motion, but nobody made a second.
Oh, I didn't even hear your
We
motion.
don't have anything currently on the ordinance as far as a motion is concerned.
All right, the payout. The difference between paying it out as one lump sum versus over the regular pay periods. Why that difference? What's the issue there?
It gives you a much better defense to the unemployment. You know, let's say they end their employment January 1. they get their check for $6,000, they could immediately apply for unemployment. And admittedly, the unemployment office will ask them certain questions about, did you receive additional? They say, well, I received a stipend. I don't know how that fits into the unemployment compensation law. I haven't researched that and haven't seen that term as the unemployment compensation law. And as Dottie said, the unemployment, you have a hearing officer. The joke in the legal community is, I got this hearing officer, I don't have to do anything because we're going to get unemployment. And you got this hearing officer, and you get the feeling, no matter what you do, they're not going to get unemployment. So it is it's kind of what hearing officer you receive is. So I think if you want to keep them from drawing unemployment during that 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is, you would have to pay it out as a severance pay over several weeks.
That would not have to be included in the ordinance, so
That would have to be included.
it would have to be.
Yeah, because I have it being paid out,
Okay,
yeah.
And if you pay it out over the course of pay periods, can you turn off the additional vacations and all the other things that go along with getting a paycheck every 2 weeks?
If they work after the first of the year, 1 day, they're entitled to their vacation pay for that year.
No, our vacation pay is by anniversary date, not yearly.
Okay, so your ordinance does it by anniversary date. Okay.
Another problem you might run into with that problem is going to be ghost employment. If we have everybody done working by, say, the 15th, I'm just choosing a date out there, 15th, and you want to do the pay periods over the next 4 pay periods, I will have no work for them to do out there during that time frame that you're paying out the extra. Because they're there to take care of the residents, so.
They wouldn't be
How
working.
many pay periods would we have?
They get
Until then.
paid even though they're not working.
Yeah, we can't pay them and have them not working, so.
If you do it with the ordinance, you can.
Yeah.
Another thing, and then I wanted to speak on Amy's about the part-time. When I worked at the hospital, we had a Baylor shift that you got considered full-time position with benefits and everything when you worked every Saturday or Sunday over the weekend, and you worked, and you only were allowed to miss one, I think it was one weekend per quarter. And so that's considered within the private sector, they consider that a full-time position because it's covering that Friday and Saturday, every Friday and Saturday.
How many hours was that, Colin?
When I worked
No, at Sunny Meadows.
at Sunny Meadows, when she worked, she'd be 16 hours.
Oh, 16 hours. So
She's physically working 16 hours, but she's set up, I'm looking at it as a Baylor shift that she's working every weekend, Friday and Saturday, stuff like that, so. It's just my opinion.
weekend shift, 16.
Just weekend shift, that's the only thing she works.
16 hours.
Nothing during the week or nothing like that. She covers the weekend shift.
Okay,
Is that
here's
the
some,
position she was hired to do, or
Yes.
was that, for that, was it something that, hey, if you want to stick around, you got to shift to this? They came
No,
in,
but she did shift from Saturday, Sunday to a Friday, Saturday.
right, sir.
That was her original agreement. I will work weekends,
Work weekends, yes.
16 hours.
Yep.
Okay.
all right, here's some numbers for you. I just did average of these 4 people on their own pay for how many pays they've gotten paid. Then I figured it if you go with paying them for 4 paychecks. So if you go with paying them for 4 paychecks, we would have, the amount, this would be the gross amount. So like for one, the gross amount would be $6,578.20, and that would net back to him at $4,785.36.
For 1 month or 2 months?
I said for 4 pays, if you do for 4 pays. So that's 2 months. That's basically the same gist for the other 2 full-time, give or take. Then the part-time gross is $23,22.67, and that would only net $20,25.32. I mean, not only, I just meant.
Were there other options that were discussed in a way to reward these employees besides a stipend?
I don't know, I'm sorry, that's
Yeah.
not mine.
I was looking
It's
at,
given at the Sunny Meadows Committee, that's just what the committee recommended, that's why I'm bringing it to you now. On a personal note, I will be writing letters of recommendation for all 4 of them for the work that they've done out there.
Okay.
That's me personally, that's nothing to do with commissioners of Sunny Meadows. The ordinance in front of you is what the Commissioner, Sunny Meadows Committee agreed upon. That's what I brought to the commissioners. They supported it, bring it to you guys. So,
Dottie, unemployment is based, the length of unemployment you receive is based on your units of service, correct?
It's actually by quarters.
By quarter, so basically, how long would these people be eligible to draw unemployment? Have you looked at that?
Let's see, they would be eligible 18 months? Oh, yeah, I think it's 18 months.
They could draw 18 months of unemployment?
Yeah. It's just changed drastically since COVID. You know, COVID changed a lot of the rules. It used to be that you had to, and you still have to look for a job during that time, but it has to be, you can't just take any old job. It has to be sort of similarly situated to what you had previously.
I think we got lots of questions. I'm seeing a lot of heads bobbing yes and a lot of heads shaking no. I don't think we're ready to act on this. This needs to be cleaned up, rewritten, redone.
What do you want?
Well, it was
Well, that's,
brought for the that's why you're having it.
If the stipend is paid out all at one time as a lump sum of 6,000, it could possibly put them into a higher tax bracket and they would pay more taxes. And because it would be in addition to their pay. So if it's including, let's say my paycheck for this week and you're putting 6,000, they're gonna pay more taxes than they would normally pay. That's,
When the initial check is, but it could even out over the course of a year when they actually filed their taxes. Part of it back.
depends how you file. It's not anything we can control.
Individually, they're not getting out of the 12% bracket. But, depends on what their spouse makes too. If their spouse makes a lot of money, they could be in a move up to the.
But one thing, if it's paid like December 15th, and they're done by December 10th, as they are projecting, they throw this lady out, you know, that'll just be one set of paychecks.
You will not get the sheriff's department to enforce an eviction order in the month of December. I guarantee you, that will not happen. I guarantee you.
So,
All four of these
okay,
people may still be working in January.
you have to remember that
right after
if they're
Christmas.
done,
Huh?
if they're done say they're done working today, today's work is not paid out for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know it.
So that's not gonna be an issue.
all right.
I-
Go ahead, Bob.
As representing the committee, I'm just going to call for the question to vote on this ordinance as it's written right now. I'll make a motion that we consider this, whether we're going to pass this or not, as it's written.
Okay, we first of all have to read and pass it on first reading.
I'll second it.
Well, we need a,
We need a motion and a second.
Got
First
that.
reading.
make your motion clear, because there's been about 10 different motions
I make a
here.
motion that we pass this as it's written.
On first reading, we have a second by Bill Van Wy. So, any further discussion? I'm going to call for the question. Pass the ordinance as presented,
Roll
as
call.
written. We have a roll call vote requested as well.
All right, just a second.
So,
Okay,
the
Collins,
No.
Presser,
No.
Dembski,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Van Wy,
Yes.
Ring,
I think it'll be cleanest if we do it this way. Yes.
Yard,
Yes.
5-2.
Okay, now we're going to make a motion. We need a motion to suspend the rules for second and third reading. Do we have such a motion?
So move.
A motion by Bill Van Wy to suspend the rules on second and third reading. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bob Kraft. Any further discussion? We'll call for the question. All those in favor of suspending the rules on second and third reading, you want a roll call vote?
No.
Okay, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
Okay. Motion is carried.
It's
Rules
not
are
carried.
Can't do it.
Okay.
Has to be unanimous.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to bring it back next month.
Thank you, good catch, sorry. So this will come back next month. We are done with this ordinance. Okay, moving on. We have Mr. Ron Dickey here to present us some information regarding the Sheriff's Merit Board and pension. Ron?
You need to turn your mic on, please. It's not.
That works? Okay. I'm a proactive person, not reactive. And in the Sheriff's Merit Board situation, there's three legs. There is the financing part, which is the Baird Corporation, our money arm. Then there is the actuary, which is McCready and King. And then there is the bill paying part, which is Co-America. And I keep close contact with particularly the Baird Group because they represent numerous in sheriff's departments throughout the county. And so I use that as a listening board to see what other departments are doing as far as their employees and benefits and things like that, and also where the problem areas are being. For some time, we've been monitoring the Co-America, which is the bill-paying part of the plan. There are some departments that are having some real problems with them. There is one department, a large department, that is thousands of dollars that have been overpaid, that should not have been paid, and now there's a big action as to who's going to take and do what. Right now, there appears there's about, recently here's about eight counties that have taken and ceasing to take and work with Co-America, and they're changing to a different firm to take and be paying the bills. I had been keeping my board advised as to what was going on, and I informed them in September that we need to have a meeting to discuss this and be proactive on it. We couldn't have a meeting right away. We meet supposedly the second Tuesday of every month, but if there's nothing really going on, we don't meet. And we're going through a hiring process, so that took care of September. October, Brady had something going, and so we were scheduled, Brady was trying to get a meeting scheduled up for November to discuss this issue. I got a call from our from Baird Group and said, hey, this thing's really heating up. The state's starting to get looking at what's going on as to what's happening, and it appears something's going to be happening pretty soon. I called Brady, and he got the members, and we're going to meet November 21st. I got a call Thursday, and Co-America is being sold to Fifth Third Bank as of 1/1. Now, what's going to happen with Fifth Third Bank, I don't know. I'm going to speak personally. In my past experience in dealing with banks and their trust departments when it has to do to pension plans has not been very favorable. I don't know what they're going to charge, what's going to be the situation, the process. I requested Baird to take and give me some options. Baird is an extremely large finance firm. They have many, many entities that they own. One of them is the trust department. And so I asked Chris Calloway, our rep, to get me a quote from them as to what they would charge us to take over our account. Currently, we're paying 0.114 of our account balance to Co-America, and then for every check that they write, we pay $4. Currently, we have 25 people that are collecting retirement funds. Then we have to pay for the disability insurance and the health and the life insurance, and then whatever the fees are from McCready and King and so forth. That's as of now. We have 9 more members that will be coming on probably this next month. So that'll make it up to 34 checks a month that we would be paying them. And that's at $4 a check. If we would switch to the Baird Trust, their fee is going to be 0.114, which is 0.003 of 1% more, but no check charges. That's just it, just a flat flat fee. If you take I tried to put a pencil to it, and I can't put a real accurate pencil because I don't know how many checks they write in addition to what the retirees are. But we're talking, if we look at just out-of-pocket expense, we're talking probably less than $1,000 overall to make the switch. We think that we should be proactive and we should go ahead and get switched to Co-America because we don't know what kind of skeletons are going to arise once they get into doing some research. We ourselves have not had a problem as far as our account, but that's not to say that there isn't some problems that we don't know about. And we want to be proactive instead of reactive because I don't know what Fifth Third is going to be. So our feeling, the board's feeling is that we make the switch.
And that would be a switch to who?
Pardon?
That would be a switch to who?
Baird Trust.
Baird Trust.
Right. Now, there's paperwork that goes through. There has to be paperwork signed by you folks and the paperwork by the merit board, and then all that has to be filed.
What you need is council approval to make the switch to Baird Trust.
That's correct.
Why did you pick that particular trust? Why did you pick that particular trust? Is it Baird, you said? Why did you pick that one?
Baird, because remember, we've had such a good relationship with the overall Baird group overall there. The Baird they are just really a large operation. They have a lot of arms. Baird Trust is one of the arms. They have another firm called Strategis, which is the #1 analytical firm for stocks and bonds and so forth. In the last 5 years, ranked #1 in the world there. So we've had such good success with those folks and we have a relationship with them that we just think that it'd be wise. And being that we're not talking about really making a big financial change, we'll buy it. And then to go out and try and get quotes right away in a short period of time isn't going to happen. There's no way it's going to be done before the end of the year. And into the year, that's when Fifth Third is taking over. And this all came about, trying to be proactive, but it just happened, just boom. So.
Is this something we need to do today?
Yes.
Yes. What we need to do is start the process. There's no paperwork or anything signed today, but start the process. Need the approval to go ahead and start and get the paperwork around to take and make the process.
Okay, I'll make a motion, just what he said.
We have a motion by Bill Van Wy to grant Ron and the merit board permission to switch to Baird Trust. And we have a second by Bob Kraft. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of granting the switch to Baird Trust signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Request is granted. Thank you, Ron.
No, thank you. Just as a side note, just to let you know what's happening right now, we are consistently operating above what the market benchmark is. Right now, we're at 10.15 on that. We have to be at 6.5 to actually keep ourselves sound based upon what the state has said we had. When this day, I came on during Don Crowell's regime, and there was times where this fund was in real trouble. Rick knows that for sure. And we were lucky we'd been paying our bills and that. We've been working hard to get this fund done. Right now, our fund balance is $9,774,000. And the reason why I tell you that, because by getting this fund balance up, we are now at 78.4% of being fully funded. Our goal is to get this fully funded, and then you won't have to be paying large annual amounts. All you'll be paying is just the maintenance fee. And that's what our goal is. We expect to be over 10 million next year.
Ron has always kept us very up to date and has always been proactive on this fund. We had to meet a few times back when Don Lauer was sheriff to kind of get us out, but he's continually moved us in the right direction. So just Good to have you there, Ron, doing
Well,
that for us.
I thank you for your support too, because we had to have your support to take and get these things done, but we're trying to be proactive as much as we can be. So thank you.
Thanks again for your leadership, Ron. You've always been great, physically responsible for the county. Did a great job. Thank you.
It goes both ways.
Been around since Crowley's.
Wow.
Okay,
Bill, just
next.
about you, he said you've been around for a while.
You were here when Donald Crowley was sheriff. You've been here for a while. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Bill, I feel.
Okay, Lita, thanks for allowing us to do a little juggling here on the schedule. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, we have with us Lita Hollinger here. Now, your presentation requires no action from the council, correct?
Correct. It's just kind of an informational thing. Because of our cyber incident, Fiddler that I use as my main vendor that protects our images, they back up our images, and they offered a program called Bastion, which would also back up our financials as far as our recording fees, that kind of thing. It was offered to me a few years ago, but I consulted with our IT, make sure I was backed up anyway, and I was. My bad for not asking more questions. If we had not regained everything, I would have lost all the financials and not a way to rebuild them. They would have been lost. So Fiddler was here the day that we found out we were hit, and after things started going, we got things up. I decided to go with Bastion to never have this problem. The initial setup and the urgency to get it set up, they called a special team in, and it was in the contract that was signed, was $13,500. I have went to the commissioners feeling I should not have to pay out of recorders funds or any of my funds the $13,500. If I was backed up like I thought I was, that money wouldn't have been expended, and I didn't go with them before to save money, thinking we were backed up anyway. So now with Bastion, I am now on iOS servers for everything that has to do with recording. Our local drives are here, and I've taken proactive measures on our local drives as well. But through Fiddler, I will pay the same maintenance fee. It might be a little bit higher, but that's not the amount that you'll see coming through from the commissioners. You'll see $13,500 coming through from the commissioners. And so it's just giving you heads up when you see that, you'll know what that is and why I went with them. Because the financials are just about as important as the images, so.
Any questions for Lita?
Just a comment. I appreciate her taking initiative, because what I understood and what I talking to her and several other people, the real estate business came to an end in DeKalb County until we got a service off.
And we do have some employees of the county that their personal real estate progress stopped. We had people that lost construction contracts. We had people that could not get construction loans because they could not prove they owned the ground, which the deed had not been recorded and couldn't be recorded for 26 days. So we could have been possibly back up and somewhat running if I'd have been on Bastion. So we're not going to let it happen again.
Thank you, Lita. Information and update. Thank you. We have with us today from probation, Michael Lapham, to possibly address any questions on the ACJC expenditures here. If the council has any, he's graciously stuck around here to make himself available for any questions that we may have.
I learned that too a long time.
saw the green button. I had a conversation with their financial managers just to set the record straight. Now, they deal with counties constantly, so it was, hey, we pay this out of a care of inmates fund. Obviously, we're used to the quarter. Takes some time. If we juvenile placement in secure detention is not a predictable animal. Okay, something happens and we just have to become reactive. So it's not, though we have a care of inmates fund and there's a base level, it's not something I can predict year to year, month to month, or quarter to quarter. This is something that we have to take care of. So I tried to inform them of that and say, hey, this amount, if I need more, or I need an additional, I'm going to have to go back. You're aware that I'm going back for an additional now to pay the bill that's currently on. Are there any penalties? Are there any changes to how you deal with that? I was concerned that there was a possibility that they may say, hey, if you can't pay your bill, no new placements, things of that nature. I was notified, no, they completely understand that each monthly bill, if we're unable to pay that we have to go back for an additional. It'll just stay on there, notified that we're delinquent, and ultimately they know that we'll get it paid because that's the expectation and that there shouldn't be any changes. Now, I apologize. The other thing I just wanted to let you know, with a distinction of juveniles, there's a statute or several that have to do with both waiver and automatic waiver, and that has to do with serious offenses for children, and there are some age gaps in there. Just to let you know, level 1, 2, 3s are listed in there, and that if they're waived, either automatically or otherwise, that becomes a bill for the sheriff. The sheriff actually pays that bill, regardless of the fact that they are still a juvenile being held in Allen County Juvenile Center. So they may have that issue with you as well. They would have been notified that they'll be paying that bill monthly and not quarterly as well. And those can be long-standing bills, obviously, because you're talking about significant cases. So, but then again, any questions, anything I can help with?
How many juvenile do we have down into Allen County at any one time?
At any one time, it depends. Right now, I have none.
Okay.
There is one being held, but it's on a waiver case, so that's a sheriff case. But I have none at the moment.
And this seems, now, if they come back out, are they under probation under your charge, or when they release from down there, is there a different process than what they do with the adults, or?
It depends. It depends on the disposition. Obviously, they go through the same court process, but yeah. They have the possibility upon release to either be placed in my charge, or if they go to, Department of Corrections. It's called wardship, Indiana Boys or Girls School. Upon release, they usually go to parole, but they have the ability to be placed back with me if the judge determines that. But secure detention is for, here, I would say, predominantly for pretrial hold. Okay, we do a risk assessment. That way, we are determining that outside of individual discretion. We do a risk assessment, determined both by classification, prior involvements, things of that nature. It's extensive. And then ultimately, if placements determine that that's necessary with the communication between law enforcement and probation, then ultimately placed in secure detention. Those are only on cases which are for juveniles and the crime that's committed if you were an adult. Okay, so non-status offenses. Status offenses are things that you can only do when you're under the age of 18.
What did the rate go from?
Like 150 to 200. It's not a significant amount. There are therapeutic placements that go through things like our Department of Child Services pay that are, $1,000 a day. But our detention placements throughout the state are close to that average. Obviously, you guys know in the past I've notified you that juvenile detention, there have been times when we didn't have those beds at ACJC, which is a bigger issue for the sheriff than it is for me because they do transportation. But we've had to go south Indy. But those payments are about the same, about $150 a day. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for Michael? Michael, thank you for sticking around.
Absolutely.
And clarifying those. That's great. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Just a reminder to the council, our next meeting is December 10th.
I have a couple things.
Yeah, at 8:30, and Susan wants to go over the appointment list here with you briefly.
Well, I have a few things. So the appointment list, I'm just providing because that will need to be dealt with at the December meeting so that you all are aware which boards, committees, whatnot need to be addressed, as well as your liaison appointments. If you guys are keeping, changing, whatever, we'll need to know that at the December meeting. The 2026 council schedule, I'll bring that at the next meeting also. I intend for it to basically be a mirror of 2025. And are you guys all okay with staying the second, whatever this is, Wednesday of the months, and like we did this year? I just kind of want to get a feeling so I'm not redoing it when I bring it to you guys in December.
Except for January. January, I wanted
You're
a day,
always-
it'll be earlier
always
because
an
I'm in
issue.
conference the rest of the week. Farm conference, but that's the only thing.
So January, well,
It doesn't matter.
January 1st, we won't be here, and that's a Wednesday. And
No,
then,
I mean the Tuesday before, not the week before.
oh, like on the 7th, the day before the Wednesday?
I'll leave for St. Louis right after. That doesn't matter.
Okay, I will make
Just
note on
take
that.
my name off any ballots.
Let's do it after he leaves. We'll make him president next time.
Well, I'll have to see what all, if there's anything, other boards, whatnot. So I will bring that back next meeting, hopefully, so we can get that approved. The other thing that I have is your county email addresses. I spend a tremendous amount of time trying to get responses from you guys, make sure you guys are seeing your information, because you're not all accessing county email addresses. I need you to access the county email addresses regularly, and if you can't, I need you to get with IT, because there's so many things that are changing, and I'm no longer going to be using personal email addresses. I mean, there's some of you I send to 4 different email addresses hoping I can get an answer, and I don't feel that I'm doing a good job getting the information or a good job for you guys. I waste a lot of time trying to track you all down to get an answer or to get a response. So I am requesting that you get on the county email very regularly. If it is a crucial emergency, yes, I will send you guys all a message saying, hey, I need this, but I can't continue tracking everybody down. Also on the county email addresses is where you're all going to be getting your Know Before training. And that is also very crucial. That needs to be done. Most of you basically didn't do them. There's a few of you that did some. Rick was the only one that maybe was in the 90%. That is very crucial that you guys are all doing those. You may have to do them for your other jobs as well. I know somebody that has to do them 2 different times for this job and a different job, but that is where all your information is going to come from, especially with HR. There's going to be different trainings, different, what do I want to say, like sexual harassment, different things like that, that is going to come through. Also, we are going with a steel benefits company, and all of your benefit renewals, whether it's the ancillary policies or health insurance, all of that will come to your county email, and it's all going to be web-based. We're not going to have papers going all over. So it's crucial. Like, you have to start getting in those emails. I would say daily, but I'm not your mom. So anyways, please get with IT if you cannot.
This is it can be troublesome. I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we all have to do, and having to get on there all the time can be a problem. There are some ways that you can fix it to make it easier for you, but we can talk about that offline. But I do know that in some of the discussions that I've had in other counties, they're not even allowing their employees or their council or their commissioners to use their personal laptops. They have to have a county laptop that's issued to them. They're not allowed to connect at all. And I don't know that we want to get to that point. Although if what just happened to us continues, because it's happened to a couple other counties, that might be the case as to what has to happen. Well, you know, and you ought to have 3 different accounts like I do and have to worry about, well, did I look at that one? Or I know I read that email, but I don't remember which account it was in, so it is a problem.
I see your point.
Yeah.
Yesterday I got in the house and I had calls, some of them, 5 of them, Mr. Chris, and other.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just don't carry my phone. Old school, I don't need it.
Anything else, Susan? Anything else come before the council? Amy, you want to do the honors? Amy, number 2? Hearing, okay, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you for a great meeting, everybody.